and translate it to English.
Okay.
It's a whole series. It's for kids. But it's set in the Old West, as interpreted by a Frenchman.
And that actually might be interesting, now that you phrased it like that.
This morning that had the different populations I was telling you about, 83,000. But then I dug back into, it's like Homer City, I have 1,730 people. I mean, it's not a lot. I mean, it's good to know that. Clymer, 1,300. But, you know, Creekside has like 288.
I love it, because everybody I know.
They're, wait,
That sits around, they
Crickside's
all,
fire
that
department.
guy is.
No, Homer City's fire department has gone to more QRS calls than fire.
Was born a good fight, so I can yell and get the whole.
It's just good to know all this as we
Yes.
try to
Yes.
reach into different communities for
Absolutely.
whatever reason.
Well, it's a lot of fun, it adds to the atmosphere. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I always slide this way.
Sorry, John.
Oh, we got lots of room down here.
I gave you business today, so.
Saw that. Well, no, look, I didn't read that full letter yet.
It's breaks like the Wednesday after spring break.
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh, yeah.
Your team?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I have to keep an eye on him.
Okay.
He's my buddy though, really.
The fraternity flavor of the year.
That's it. That's it. Sometimes we need a pep talk. Oh, no. Well, I'll tell you, these 70-degree days, they crept up on us a little
Yeah.
bit. I wasn't expecting it to be this nice, but.
It's like it's in May.
Well,
I truly want it.
if history tells us anything, at some point in March, it's gonna be like 30 degrees and
You're right.
freezing rain and snow, so take it, I guess, as we can get it.
Yes, one day at one. Let me check.
Other than you just, yeah, yeah, like this has never went to a committee or anything.
Made such a long list of what I've observed through all those evaluations.
Oh.
But you'll be glad.
It's also an.
Yeah, in the long run. You know, if you think to
At
yourself,
least the court is.
if there's somebody that you'd like to say, I really want
Nobody
to
really
talk
wants
to
that.
one-on-one, so you've got.
Great, great. That's, you know, it's the positive side of doing an evaluation is just like check boxes, is that you get a lot of feedback. The downside is that you open yourself up to absorb a lot of it's always one of those,
We've always got.
And I know people are reluctant whenever they have complaints.
yeah.
That's what I mean, okay. So there isn't a proposed revision in that, okay. Well, I just want to make sure, well, sometimes things show up.
Not any.
We have on the books right now.
And the 77.
That's what I thought I was reading, but last time you
But-
sent it, it didn't have highlights.
Last time it was
So it
plugged
threw
in
me off.
6:30 this morning.
Good.
That's right.
And, yeah, I mean, I talk to Eric about this all the time, but you know, pay attention to the little things. When we miss or the target, we don't miss.
You know, I keep it in the cloud, I can access it from any
About the
phone or computer.
He's saying about who's gonna speak.
I took a picture of it, but if you want to check, if there's 3 names, I have it. Thank you.
You guys are already sitting down, your council members. I don't want to break any more.
Okay.
They would show off.
I don't want to ruin it in one night.
You are the youngest here.
Guess it. Molly, no, Molly's here.
I don't like that.
How old are you, Molly? So she is C?
You can't ask
You
that
can.
question.
Why not? She's in her 20s. Totally allowed.
Can't ask that when somebody is. That's why we need an HR person to protect you from asking those type of questions.
Call the March 5th council meeting to order. We can have a moment of reflection in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry,
Trying to hold my.
trying to hold your hand, yeah. Chair, shut the door. Locked it from the outside.
We have roll call, please.
Rod,
Here.
Milazzo. Here. Developers.
Here.
Brick. Here. Lancaster.
Here.
Newell. Here. Bernice. Here. Smith.
Present.
Each council, you're last.
Do we have any additions or changes to the agenda? Nope. Okay, so we're moving on to approval of minutes. We have a motion to approve the February 6th council minutes. Is there any discussion? Sure, sorry. Wow, that, some buy a lotto ticket. No one tells me to be louder.
This room is terrible acoustics. There you go.
Okay, yeah, no discussion, all in favor of approving the February 6th minutes? Signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, moving on to the February 20th work session minutes. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Aye. Oh, yeah, all opposed. Okay, motion carries. January, we have a motion to approve the January 2024 financial report. Is there any discussion on the January financial report? Right, all in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Okay, we are on to public comment. Nicole, I think you had the actual list. Just have a picture of the list. Kirk Bennett is up first.
I thought I had to sign in.
Well, thank you for coming, but no, you didn't have to, but thank you for coming nonetheless. All right, Jeremy, you're up, sir.
Hello, I want to say good evening, y'all. And Mr. Luke, you need to be a little bit louder because you were loud and you trailed off. It's like you're trying to tell a story that's not true. I'm just here to ask you guys to please approve my disability fair that I'm trying to get together for the end of September, beginning of the next of October, I believe it is. Yes, yes. And I want to say thank you for the sidewalks and everything. It took me 3 months to complain about that, but you guys are starting to get to it. And I just want to say, this is especially for the chief that's here. He should teach his police officers some more common courtesy. They don't have all the power in the world. I have a video of one of the cops being a complete a-hole to me, and I'm going to show that. I think he should be thrown off the force. His badge should be revoked, and he should not be able to serve anything because he thinks that he runs the world because he has a badge, and that's not fair to anybody else. And they should teach the cops common courtesy, no think that they have all the power in the world, because they don't. They're our servants. We pay their salary, so they work for us. We don't work for them. They have to listen to us if it's reasonable, but there's some things they're not. And I just want to say thank you, Casey, for laughing at me talking. No, everybody here is, I like right there. I forgot his name at the moment. Mayor's cool. Chief's cool. Casey's cool most of the time. Mr. Diary's pretty cool. And Mr. Broad, is that how you say it? Is cool. I haven't really talked to any of these, the women over here, and I'm sorry, I'm not being sexist. It's just I didn't have a chance to talk to you. And like I'm gonna say for my last 35 seconds, please approve my getting my disability fair going. I think it's gonna bring a lot of exposure to the city because you always are saying we're disability friendly, which you're not. And just to be honest, you're pretty not until I started coming in and complaining about sidewalks and everything. So if you can help me, that'd be great. If you can't, I guess I'm gonna have to come for 3 months to bug you enough to say you approve it. Thank you for your time. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels.
All right. Trina, is that how you say it? Trina? Trina, you are up next.
Have much to say. Hello, council members, good evening. I am Trina Flam from 481 Byers Road, Indiana, PA. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak at each and every meeting that I've been able to come to. I just want to send out a word of encouragement this evening. I want to encourage you to do the right thing in your decisions because it affects many, many people. And I personally would like to be known as being part of a community that stands boldly for doing the right thing and not succumbing to the external pressures to go along with the crowd, even when doing the right thing may not be the most popular among these changing times. I have no idea what pressures may come upon you in your positions. And I want you to know that many prayers go out to the council, to all of you for your protection and discernment in all the matters that you must deal with on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did not see any other signed up. Chris, did you want to say anything or apologize, sir? I don't know your name. Anyone else? No? Okay. Includes public comment. We don't need an executive session, do we?
Not that I'm aware of.
No? Okay. That's executive session. On to committee reports. Peter, looks like you are up.
Yeah,
I know, then we gotta find it, right?
we don't have any action items coming from the administration committees. Reviewed the finances, the parking is doing well, especially compared to sometimes in the past. Got a letter of retirement from the wastewater treatment plant supervisor. So that's a position that will need to be replaced. There's a subscription that we entered into with the Niche Academy that's going to provide training for people in the borough. We've hired a new communications person and grant writer.
Welcome aboard.
And that's all I have.
All right, any questions for Peter?
Did you say that there's a training program, the one that we talked about, one of the last meetings, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any time to go over how the training takes place or who takes what training or how we keep record of it or we haven't even gotten that far yet? Okay.
So it's gonna go to each supervisor and they pick what trainings they either want to do individually and then different there's tons of over 100 different trainings. And then go over with what they want to do with their staff.
Okay.
Well, there's a little bit done to that, right? Like the computer's gonna log when they take it, things like that. So there's some level of tracking already figured out.
there's, like not a test, but it's something to ask you questions that shows that you completed the thing, yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if we're gonna give our upcoming HR consultant some access to this program so that maybe they can help fill that in with the roles and stuff. I feel like that'd be a really great task for them.
And also they're gonna add, I think the plan is for them to also give other inputs of other trainings, correct?
That trainings,
Right.
the, is what I had in mind, the HR person.
And reinvent.
I was
That's
just
that's the
double checking.
RFP that we.
Oh. Okay, sorry.
So we have a couple, inquiries, resumes and that dropped off, so I'll get them to Pat and we'll start the
Recommendation for the work session, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that our goal?
last day to collect them.
Any other questions, comments for admin? Okay, moving on to community development. Everybody was there. The only real thing I can add is that there is an extra steering committee meeting, which we're hoping is the final steering committee plan on Thursday, like 2 days from now. So other than that, everything else is pretty much, I don't know. I think it's here, but I don't remember. Yeah, I think Trajan was said he was gonna email to remind everybody exactly where, but I do believe it's here. I think that was the only thing that wasn't in the minutes. Anyone have any questions for community development? Public safety.
Okay, I do have a suggested motion, but before we vote on it, it just says permit parking at Station Avenue. If I remember correctly, we're looking at permit parking on North Station Avenue between Philadelphia and Water. Is that?
Yeah, it's
Maybe.
just Station Avenue between Philadelphia and Water
Okay.
Street. There is not a south
There's
station.
nothing in here, so I'm gonna make the suggested motion that we move to approve permit parking on Station Avenue between Philadelphia and Water Streets.
Second.
Yeah, well.
She did, just because I reworded it. The Station Avenue is about 5 or 6 blocks long. This way.
Is there any other discussion on the motion? We're not spending money, right? Just permit parking?
Permit
Okay,
parking.
just making sure. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries.
I just want to remind everybody, coming up on March 16th is the the St. Patrick's Day Parade that the chamber, or the downtown Indiana and Coney are kicking off. I don't know the details, but I assume it's going to be a nice affair.
Okay, anything else for public safety? You got anything else done? No.
I'm done, yeah.
Moving on to public works.
All right, Public Works, there's a few edits to the minutes I noticed, because we didn't start until 7:50. Nicole, I don't know if you want me to email Roland that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. That's what I tried to do with the admin, so 7:50 it was, okay.
As far as what's going on with Public Works, the borough streetlights have been inspected. First Energy has been notified. So if you have streetlights that you notice are out, probably first call First Energy because it is a responsibility. But if you contact us, we will relay that message on. But if you want to go direct to the source, it's First Energy. We had a major source of infiltration along Stony Run, and we had approved at the work session the emergency funding to get that repaired. It's all complete. All right, we had a stream flowing directly into our sanitary sewer, which caused problems at the wastewater treatment plant, as you can imagine. There were 2 high flow events last month, and the detention facility was used for 1 event. We had extensive repairs to a number of different aspects of the wastewater treatment plant, as we often do, but we had to clean out the grinders again. Please do not flush the flushable wipes. They are not flushable. I think this is the 30th time we've said that, but please, you know, put it in the press's front page, please. All right. Yeah, I can send you some photos if you need them. We have, yeah. I mean, that should be at top of the fold, I think. All right, we have a rise in flu viruses. If you look at the wastewater treatment surveillance rates that we got. And we're also continuing the surveillance of the population level of the overdose agents and drug use in the area. And as those numbers become more extensive and we have more months of numbers, we'll be able to share those. But right now we are still in the monitoring phase. The other things that happened at Public Works is we talked about solar. This was also discussed during the work session, and we moved forward with a rough agreement with one provider to move forward with a plan to install solar panels at the wastewater treatment plant. Report, does anyone have any other feedback from the Public Works? Okay. Yes, we have a resolution. All right, go back. All right, we have the 537 plan, which has already gone to all the different entities. This is our second round of this plan. I'd like to move to approve the resolution Indiana Borough has prepared and Act 537 Sewage Facilities Plan, special study to address sewage facilities needs in the portion of the borough known as Marsh Run Sanitary Sewer Interceptor. Yeah. Second. Okay.
I believe this is this spending money?
It's, yeah, we could.
Yeah, I'd roll call it.
Yeah.
Just.
Roll call
So
vote
for
for
those
free,
who
so.
are familiar with 537 plan, this is a new plan. This has been adjusted. It's actually reduced the size of the plan. So yeah, by many millions of dollars. So this is a good thing for us.
Any other discussion on this resolution? So then you would take the roll, please.
Yes.
Colazo.
She stepped out. Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Newell.
Yes.
Cerniso. Smith.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent.
Anything else, Graham?
Yep.
You brought up a good point. Community development also has a 7 o'clock start time on their minutes, and they were the second meeting that night. So I don't know what the time was, but it is not 7 o'clock.
After.
Least. Okay,
It was your committee. My meeting finished at 8:10.
what did it?
Yeah.
So we would have
I
went,
was
Okay.
well,
So it
I
had
need
to
to make
start
a new
at
habit
11.
apparently, so.
recording.
Did you hear what he said, Nicole? Yeah, I mean, we were within a minute or two of
Yeah.
that, I believe,
Yeah.
so. Okay. Okay, moving on to commission reports. Peter, did you have anything specific you want to report from the planning commission?
No, there's the packet, there's still, as we heard, the comp plan, as you know, because you're on the steering committee, which I am not, is going to have a meeting coming up this week.
Yep.
There's movement on the harb, but nothing definite yet. I think. I don't recall anything else.
Okay, any questions for the planning commission? Well, not the representative report, I guess is probably the right way to say it. Okay. Next up is Shade Tree. Tammy, I know that you weren't able to be there, but I know you talked about it with someone, right? Shade Tree?
No, I reached out to them to let them know I would not be there to please follow up, and I did not get a response.
Gotcha. Well, they did submit a report. Yeah. It sounds like a whole bunch of trees are gonna get planted and a whole bunch of trees are gonna get trimmed.
This week they planted, I think there's like 5 that was planted already. So planning,
Picture stuff from that report that I read. A lot of trees are gonna get planted and trimmed kind of the end. Did you get anything else, major from the any takeaway from that? Other than what there are a lot of trees getting planted, the process has begun.
On that, and, we talked, they talked tree grates too, more tree grates are going downtown, and I believe Ryan updated them on the Vinegar Hill, so. This was January's report, so in February's report, that will all be talked about. Cause they just met. Well, yeah, they just met a couple weeks ago, so we don't have February's, but this was January's report.
We just met Thursday.
No, Monday.
Okay.
Last Monday, or, yeah, so you'll get February's report next.
Okay, personnel reports. Nicole, you're still up.
Borough renovation is officially off in full swing. We had the containers delivered today, thanks to Lori. She arranged that. So we will start loading those containers with stuff that, you know, we will not need for hopefully a year, like some extra tables and some storage stuff will be loaded in those containers. Again, the big meeting is on the 12th at night. We have our first pre-construction meeting, that will consist of all the contractors and subcontractors and, a representative from each, like the police department and Paul and Brenda and, everybody will be, there to, you know, get prepared for the move and for everything that goes along with it. Thanks to Casey came in and confirmed some of the paint choices I had picked out just to make sure I wasn't too far off topic. So again, a lot of good upgrades are going to happen that are desperately needed. So we'll get through the year. It's not going to be fun, but we'll get through it. The auditors are finishing up. Lori and I have been dealing with them for the last month, and again, it's a very, very busy time of the year with having the auditors here. A lot of paperwork, a lot of information. They'll be back. They'll come to the admin meeting probably in April to give the report, April or May. I did want to let the council know that Trajan and I did meet with Rob and Jared from the school board. We had lunch with them on Monday. The meeting went really well. Just talking about planning and zoning and the future of Horseman. So I think it's going to be a great relationship. We'll work well with them. We're going to keep them up to date. You know, obviously we're going through a zoning rewrite. So that's important, and they want to be, you know, kept up to date on that. So they'll be part of that. And Jared's actually part of the steering committee when for the comp plan. So he's well aware of what's going on, and Trajan, you know, came with some good ideas and has some good information for them. So we'll continue to have that ongoing talk with them. So other than that said, everybody's been doing a great job under this. The last couple months have been crazy. So we're getting ready for spring.
Any questions for the borough manager? Okay, moving on. Chief, if you're up next.
I wanted to say welcome, Molly. Sorry. And Molly, yeah, so, yeah. That's it, sorry.
Welcome, Molly. Thank you.
Welcome, Molly.
Thank you,
Few
Mayor.
words, maybe let us know who you are.
I'm Molly Sarver. I have actually had a bit of a history with Indiana Borough. My first position here was actually as a student planner while I was at IUP in 2016. I continued to be a student planner here until 2019. I took an internship with Indiana County at that time to serve as their sustainability coordinator to their Sustainable Economic Development Task Force. That internship translated into a full-time position as a senior land use planner. And that was in 2019. I was eventually promoted to chief planner. And then I hopped ship and came over here. I had a wonderful time working with Indiana County, but I'm really excited to have a more focused perspective on Indiana Borough. I'm originally from Blacklick Township, so I'm a lifelong resident of Indiana County, and I love living in the downtown. So happy to help.
Okay, Mr. President, calls for service for the month.
I had to do it.
Service for the month will be provided to council at next week's public safety meeting. And then it'd be in the council packet for the third meeting of the month. Other than that, we started today at the police department a bicycle safety campaign. It was posted, started with being posted on our social media. We're partnering with the Indiana Cycle Center, which is formerly Indiana Schwinn. There are going to be a few posters hanging in the windows of their bicycle shop. And we're going to be very vocal about bicycle safety, keeping bicycles off of the Philadelphia street sidewalks, but trying to educate the community as opposed to enforcing our way out of that bicycle problem. So enforcement is needed, but it will be a bicycle safety campaign, and that starts today. And the only other thing that I have is just a very to follow up on St. Patrick's Day. There's a St. Patrick's Day parade that's going to be occurring downtown. That's March 16th, Saturday. The parade starts at 11 a.m. Philadelphia Street will start to close between 5th and 4th Street at 10 a.m. There will be our standard detour route on Water Street, Church Street, and School Street for the parade. The parade is anticipated to last less than an hour. It will conclude at the intersection, or it will conclude in the 800 block of Philadelphia Street. We encourage everybody to come downtown for that, but we want you to arrive early, be patient, be safe, watch for suspicious activity, report suspicious activity, enjoy St. Patrick's Day. And then for the entire week following and into the weekend, we do expect there to be some heightened periods of celebration in Indiana. That's not uncommon to the things that we face. We are continuing to plan with our partners. We'll have an increased police presence as the weather gets nicer, and there will be letters that go out to student residents and businesses. But as always, the increased police presence is here for everyone. We are not against anyone, and we are here for your safety, and we need to be safe ourselves so that we can best serve everyone else. So again, just looking forward to a safe and happy month of March, and then into April. And Mr. President, that's my report for today.
All right. Any questions for the chief?
10th Street, leaving Philadelphia towards IUP, the green buildings. 3 times in the past couple weeks, these students are not looking at all when they step off the curb and just walk, and they're not in the crosswalks. Today, she had the Princess Leia headphones. She just walked, and I almost got her. And I did call the borough or the police department down there at IUP. And they recommend that if anybody has any of these students irresponsibly stepping in front of vehicles as they're doing, that you can file little incident reports so that they can keep track of it, so that they can follow up with trying to hold them more accountable, because they are clueless. They are lovely. They are on their phones. They're on their headphones. And I'm really glad I did not get her today, but she was way too close today. So I just wanted to bring that to the public attention, that it is an issue, and they said that it is getting worse.
I may apologize. Are we talking about 10th and Oakland Avenue, or are we talking about 10th and Philadelphia Street? 10th and Oakland, towards the Oak Grove, into the end of the Oak Grove?
Bright green.
Yeah,
Pizza House.
okay, just making sure I knew the location. Okay.
Figure out where. Okay.
She said green, I knew.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
This is all green.
All right.
I have a question also with the bike safety. How are we getting that out? The reason I'm asking is Sunday night, I nearly got clipped by an e-bike speeding down the sidewalk on Philadelphia Street. Came out of nowhere, and I've seen it other times where guy was going fast. He had to be doing about 10 to 15.
Well, the education component, I mean, we're gonna try and make that as robust as
Yeah, I know.
possible with,
I know you can't be everywhere at all
Well-
times, but
well, that would be the enforcement component of seeing it and then,
Right.
making a traffic stop or somehow approaching the bicyclist. E-bikes are an interesting dynamic in Indiana, and we are not free from complaints about e-bikes. They are easy to operate. They can operate at under 20 miles an hour, right up to 20 miles an hour. You only have to be 16 or above to operate them. And, you know, if you're going to be reckless on a pedal bike, you're going to be reckless on an e-bike. So, I believe I had this conversation, Councilor Clausen and I had this conversation where, you know, unfortunately, we're good at investigating crashes. And not that we would ever want to see a crash, but the education, I think the education portion will reach a wider section of town than in coordination with enforcement. So I hope to use the radio. I hope to use press release for the Gazette. I hope to use IUP's traffic safety. We're going to use the Indiana Cycle Center. We're going to use officers on foot when the weather breaks. We have our own e-bike at the police station, and we have officers trained for a bicycle unit. So we'll have them out as weather breaks and it's safe to ride a bike. And hopefully all of the above will create safe cycling.
Any way now that we're working with the schools that we can include something with schools, because a lot of the kids that go to our schools will also be the ones biking, and they're not the adults, but that would be a big segment.
Most definitely. And I would offer that if anyone on council or anyone in the community has suggestions on how we can do, you know, better, more robust bicycle outreach, we'll be happy to partner.
School day.
Again, good, that's something that we can talk, could be talked about. Good.
Those e-bikes are great for so many reasons, but as we discussed, unfortunately, if somebody's lost their license due to drinking and driving, this is their alternative. They get on the street. Now they're on a motorized vehicle. If they weren't responsible to drive, I mean, there have been numerous drive-bys or whatever. Like it's just, but I mean, they're flying down and they just.
Yes, on bicycles for sure.
License to drive on the road, they come up with this alternative plan to drive on the road. They're still not following the rules and they're still possibly irresponsible, but you get the pros and cons, but it's out there.
You've had one last question, just to clarify for me. Was the parade starting at 10 or 11?
11.
I think we're shutting everything down starting.
Maybe that's why I heard 10. Maybe
So the
10.
The 400 block of Philadelphia Street will be closed at 10 a.m. for parade staging. And then the other streets through town will be systematically closed closer to 11 a.m. All roads on Philadelphia Street between 5th and 9th Street will be closed by 11 a.m.
Thank you. Mr. Solicitor.
Thank you, Mr. President. The biggest thing that we're working on is shutting my phone off.
The IUP person, she's not here anyways, but here, so.
She's next.
Never mind. I skipped that. I already had more.
Interrupted tonight, Chief. That's okay. Are we good? All right. So, the good news is Nicole and I and Brenda have been working this week on finally getting everything to the sheriff to start the sale process on the Bell properties. There are 5 actual properties, only 4 that we have liens on, but due to the large amount of money that is owed to the borough, we're gonna have the sheriff sell all 5. And so, you know, my hope is that by the end of this week, the sheriff will have it, and then it'll be in his court to schedule the sheriff's sale. Just so you know, for planning, it takes about 8 weeks to get it scheduled. Once I get everything to the sheriff, it takes about 8 weeks for them to get the sale scheduled. Okay?
The auction style or set price?
No, it'll be a auction that the sheriff's office will hold an auction. And you know, there was some questions raised. Well, there might be some private bidders interested. Can we just sell to them? We don't own the property. We don't own the property at this point. We are simply asking for the court to execute on our judgment. So they will mark the property, put the property up for sale. If somebody chooses to buy it at the sheriff's sale, so be it. If not, then we will bid what we call costs, whatever our costs are involved in to this point. And then, the borough at that point would then own the properties and we could sell to whoever or demolish or do whatever we want. Sell the vacant lots if we decide to demolish. But that's, putting the cart in front of the horse. Obviously, if a third party wants to come in and buy it, I think the borough's goal has always been to make those properties usable, habitable, and not a drain on the neighborhoods. So we'll just have to see where we're at, but we are finally making progress. We got the lien searches back, so
Nice.
progress is being made on that front. And that's really all I have right now.
Did we end up getting a hold of the gentleman? Remember we were waiting on one person for the Marsh Run project?
Easements are signed, yep, and, yeah, so we let the engineers know.
They're all good.
Okay. Now we can,
It took some time. I mean, it was a little bit more of an effort probably than we would have liked, but yes. So all good.
any other questions for the solicitor? Okay, now we can talk about the IUP report.
Yeah, she did send out she did, apologize she couldn't be here tonight, but she did include her report. So, that's all.
Did you send it? I don't remember seeing it.
Molly sent it,
Oh, okay. I was looking at, sorry.
which
I'll
was
look again.
awesome because I got an email today. I'm like, oh, Jen Dunsmore's having somebody else send out her stuff. Well, it was you and I had no idea who you were. So
Okay.
welcome.
All right, looks like I'm up, so I'm just to be cliche, I'm gonna welcome you also. See if we can get everyone here. I have a rather somber message. A friend of mine, military veteran, took his own life on February 29th. And so I just wanted to take a quick moment and put it out there. I don't know who's all gonna actually hear me say this, but anyone who wants to report these sort of things, please do so. That there's helplines, there's people out there that would talk to you if you need help. And so it's hard to ask for help, but there's people in your life that want you to stay here. And so whoever you are, whoever is actually gonna hear this, there's someone out there that loves you and wants you to stick around. So talk to anyone you need, come in here, talk to us, whatever. We'll do whatever we can for whoever we can. So it's really all I had. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, let's go to Sixth and Philly. The first Commonwealth Bank building has just been donated to the county. That's a big deal. Now you say to yourself, wait a minute, if the county has it, does that mean it won't be taxed anymore? No, there's a pilot program that will, the county will have Chamber of Commerce. They'll have the Tourist Bureau, and there's one other entity that'll be there too, and that'll be downtown Indiana. Thank you very much. See, she's brand new and she's already coaching. That's very nice. So between the three of them, they'll be paying a like rent that will then compensate for the taxes that we won't be getting, and which comes to about $31,000. So I think that's important for us to know that. That's a real neat old bank, but they have a lot of plans for it. The downstairs has a real nice area that will be used maybe for an incubator, that type of thing. So that's kind of a good move for downtown Indiana, getting the chamber up here and also bringing the Tourist Bureau. So that's a big deal. Glad to hear that happening. We're working very diligently with Citizens Ambulance because, as you know, that's becoming a big project to keep it going because they are running out of money. There are 38 municipalities in the county, of which all of them need to come forward and say, yes, we want to participate to the program that is now on the board. It's going to be real difficult. So just kind of bear with us for a while because there are a lot of moving parts, but we all know that it's a very important thing to have. And so I want to keep you folks up to date that we're doing the best we can to keep Citizens Ambulance up and running very strongly. So hang in there. We'll do the best we can to do that.
That if it's not I understand that things could change drastically as far as the ambulance service goes. You know, the luxury that we've had over the years with citizens. You know, I understand that there's another group that wants to come in and just kind of take over, and it's not going to be the same caliber of educated people who've been dedicated to our community. So if you want to look into it or give them a call or get involved, spread the word that fundraising does mean a lot, but they need a lot of prayers. I mean, change is good sometimes and a blend is good, but I would hate to see this go bad.
Well, there's an authority right now that's working on it to try to figure out a way to charge a fee to all the houses, all the homes in the county, of which there's 44,000 of those. And they felt if they could just charge like $85 per household, that they would be able to fund it, because the funding isn't here today like it was in the past. If you go way back, you'll know that, we had deep mines here. And RP Coal Company, where I worked, we bought ambulances for them because we had to have them because of coal miners. It was just that simple. Those days aren't here any longer. We don't have the power plants running like we used to have, where that is also needed. So now we're more on our own to fund that. And that's where the authority is trying to come into play. But the idea is hopefully for them to just take and contract with citizens so you'd never notice a difference. So that's what's in the works right now. So just hang in there and see what happens. But we know we have to have it. Thank you. Thank you.
Questions for the mayor? Okay, moving on, excuse me. Moving on to old business. Before we go into what's listed here, was there anyone that had anything to add under old business? No? Okay. So the transit retail business. So I think the premise of why we want to talk about that is downtown Indiana was trying to have food trucks in IRMC Park on Mondays. And they were trying to make it an event, but as the chief researched the ordinance, there wasn't a way to allow it independently, just the food trucks. So here we are talking about, do we want to, and if so, how do we do something about that? And so if we wanted to just amend the ordinance, it would be as simple as allowing food trucks in IRMC Park, or allowing food trucks on Monday, or something to that degree. Is that a good summation of what we're?
Yes. And I guess as for Pat, for the solicitor, is can we be that detailed and say in this, like food trucks just on Mondays? Like, is that?
Draft it however you want. I mean, you can make an exception or an exemption to do that.
Well, there's
now.
the locations in that ordinance, correct? Like,
You can put the
Yeah.
location and you can put what days you want it, or you could say, if you want to make it a little broader. I mean, it depends how you want it to be. I mean, because you know what's gonna happen. Food trucks, IRMC Park Mondays. Really like to get Danny's Taco on Wednesday. Or I'd really like the pig rig on Thursday. Oh, wait. What's the Stromboli guy that goes out to Tractor Supply? No.
JJ's phone.
No, I don't know who it is. It doesn't matter. This isn't about advertising their businesses. But the Stromboli guy, he's out at Stromboli. No.
That's all right, we get it.
The coop. Thank you, chief. Thank you. Yeah, the coop.
all right.
So my point is,
Now they're all hungry.
do you really want, how limited do you really want this? And I'm not saying to make it, but my concern is that we open it to Mondays and then later on, we're gonna make it Wednesday.
Sounds like a great plan. Maybe
I mean,
every day of the week.
You could do it whatever you want. I'm just saying, keep that in mind as you're thinking this through. Cause you don't wanna limit yourself too much.
Let's do this one conversation at a time, folks.
Yeah.
Casey, if you want to go
Right.
first.
We discussed this at a previous meeting of having a ad hoc committee to discuss both events, but I think this transient business and events should go together, and we should talk about this like as a separate ad hoc committee, because I think this needs public comment broader, because a lot of these rules were brought into place because of the previous public comment from business owners not wanting them in certain spots. So if that dynamic has changed, like things have changed since, I don't know when this was done,
2012.
So things have changed a little bit as far as like food trucks and transient vendors and in town, so maybe having some sort of forum or like invite where we can bring people in, they can give their feedback, either vendors and also local businesses if they want pro con, what areas, but this is like super restrictive. If you look at all the lists, like it's honestly, it's very confusing for me to figure out where a food truck is allowed. Generally, I just think they're not based on this long list.
Yeah, I mean, that's generally
Yeah.
what I got out of them too.
When this ordinance was passed, it was controversial and it was a split vote.
Mhm.
And Park did not exist yet at the time.
This
think
is
that's
basically for the hot dogs.
Is
wasn't
that what people
Well,
places?
That came along after.
it? Okay.
Faye was trying to help a person get a Thai food truck out here.
Yeah,
Okay, so
is IRMC Park people place?
North, 7th between Philly
Yeah, this
and
list.
Nixon.
Upon
the completion.
That's the south side.
Is that IRMC Park? Was that the original name
North,
of it?
North
People
7th,
Place?
that has to be.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that
church
the
is on the
north?
south
Yeah.
side of
No,
Philly.
no, this says North 7th.
Between Philadelphia and Nixon.
North is
upon the
IRMC
completion-
Park.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
Upon the completion of People Place.
I was trying to figure out if it meant the space in which people could be and not cars. And I was like.
IRMC Park.
So does that mean it is allowed?
I don't know.
No.
Ad hoc.
But what's
Basically, no.
So happy to sit on.
Ad hoc committee or have a representative sit, because the most important thing for the police department is just clear guidance. And we don't have to, you know, if the manager's office wants to handle applications, that's perfectly okay, but the clear guidance that we have, because the requests come from all over for all different things. And so food trucks right now can only exist, it can exist anywhere on private property, and no one has to call the borough, which is great for the borough staff because we have zero liability when that happens on private property. You know, the places intentionally were 700 Locust Street, which is pretty much in an area of no man's land where you know, it wouldn't be competing, so to speak, with really anything else. And then on Washington Street, which was again in a location where we didn't have downtown. Yeah, 1000 Washington, that's Copies Plus, School Street. Yeah, these are places that, yeah, it was clearly put in place, although I didn't have a specific hand in crafting it, clearly put in place to keep food trucks as far away from downtown as possible. So as long as it's clear guidance, you know, and the food truck fits in a parking space, which is 23 feet long by 8 feet wide, there's really not a specific public safety concern component. It's just clear guidance for enforcement because, or at least even understanding what we can improve and what we can't.
Okay, so Jessica?
Great, but could we also open it up for public comment?
I think that was the point, honestly.
Not just a committee, but like a public comment.
Well, they could be public.
Okay. So it's not like establishing a committee for this, it's just,
And we would advertise that.
well, I'm suggesting that we have a time that the public can come up and speak. And that they don't have to have been on the committee, so everyone can have a voice.
So my understanding of what an ad hoc committee is, because I've only been on one, is simply because I'm not sure, maybe you don't know.
Special topics.
Right, it's
Special topic.
it literally, so for example, it would be every Wednesday at 9 AM, whatever we decided to be, that would be when the meeting was. And it would be another one of these basically, right? And it would have to
Yeah,
have
like
public
we-
comment
we
and
just
people be able to come
really
in.
A public meeting.
Right.
Numerous meetings on this topic, or perhaps one long sit down.
Many meetings they feel they
Well,
need
if I may-
as the process.
If we could back up a second, do we think we need that to rewrite this entire thing? That would be where your head's at for.
I don't think
for
we
that.
should
Okay.
do little carve outs because that's the problem here.
It's
It's
a
a bunch
mess.
of little messy carve outs for different special interests and I would
So
like it
in
to
other
be
words-
neutral and fair.
Blow it up
Okay,
and
I
make
think
it
that's pretty good
fair
feedback.
across the board.
Okay, so I don't know how you form an ad hoc committee. First off, is
You,
that what the
you
majority-
appoint them.
is that what the majority of people want to do?
Right.
But do we need a vote on whether or not we
No,
want an ad hoc
you
committee?
have the power to form it.
Okay, well, okay, I guess we're forming an ad hoc committee. Cool. This sounds fun.
And then you can name who you want.
Whatever they decide. Like, we did an ad hoc committee for chickens and bees. We did an ad hoc committee for redistricting.
Here's who you
I was
want.
the head of that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, chickens and bees.
Okay, so if we want to form an ad hoc committee, when do we want this thing to be?
They could decide. We just need to know who's on it. That's all we need to do right now.
Am I pointing and clicking or what are we doing here? What?
Who wants to do it?
Sounds like you do.
I'll do it.
I'm happy to be on it. I was part of it the last time.
How many do we need on it? Whoever wants to?
You don't want everybody.
Okay, well, Jessica, Casey and Peter have volunteered and, okay, what? Okay, we're pretty close to a council meeting then.
That's fine. Chickens and bees.
Redistricting, you had like 4 and then a couple staff members.
We have 4 or 5, yeah, generally 3 to 5.
3 to 5 and then, couple staff representatives.
Okay, is that what we want to say then? The 5 volunteers? Do I need to appoint a chair? Is that how that works? Or do they appoint a chair?
Rock, paper, scissors.
What?
I feel like Casey's ready.
Well, you have the experience, or maybe you don't. Maybe it was just Peter that was on this the first time?
That's fine.
Well, I was on the council.
Yeah.
I was in the minority in voting.
Ah, okay, well, do you mind sharing?
That's fine.
Okay, well then there we go. There's
Yeah.
the 5
And
folks
we'll-
and
I'll
the
email,
chair.
we'll get a date and then we'll figure out what the date is and publicize it.
Now, for clarity, you're looking at this ordinance specifically.
We'll be looking at this ordinance and the event.
You want the event policy? and
I
that
think we
at the
should
top?
talk about both because it's about like public.
Kind of.
Is that what?
Together.
Well, we've yet to actually make it to actually talking about that. We've tried like 3 times, so.
Last time. Did you include Steve or does he appoint someone?
Jonathan.
I know it was like your meeting.
Concerns are, right now, we're just looking at getting public comment, like getting feedback. And providing an opportunity for that feedback.
What you want me to stay away from? There's no issue there.
Excuse me. Have you thought about the restaurant owners in town? I do believe that is
The idea,
Yeah, that's why she,
Now, if I have a restaurant that I've put thousands and thousands of dollars into and I've been running for years, and now you're gonna pull a food truck up, I don't think that's good business at all.
We want those people to, yeah, we want the business owners to.
Opinion by restaurant owners.
What's that?
There's differences of
Yeah.
opinion among the restaurant owners.
Well, I remember when Hot Dog John was on the board and Coney Island came up here and said, wait a second, I've been selling hot dogs.
But Nick
Now
Kara
keep going.
says if I can't compete with a food truck, I shouldn't be in business.
I just think that if I put all my life into a restaurant downtown and all of a sudden a truck pulls up, just like there's gonna be a donut truck pull up by Duncan now, down on Locust Street. Do you think, does that feel good to you?
well, I can make the challenge that, would they oppose a new restaurant opening next door?
No, I'm getting back to the question about. Well, that's different, because if you're opening a restaurant, then you're all in, as opposed to pulling up a truck.
But I do think honestly, it's the point of the ad hoc committee,
Yeah.
honestly, to kick these sorts of things around.
Available, yes. I don't know. I can't find a plate. I can't buy a salad on a Tuesday and it bothers me.
Talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
There's also the downtown Indiana, if they're smart, they're members of that, and they can also voice their
Yeah.
opinion through
We'll
that.
reach out,
that-
try to get as
But
many
it's-
people.
There were a lot of controversies when this was first enacted.
Yeah.
And the 2 big people that were against it were owner of the Coney and Lenny Akbay, and Lenny since sold the Romeos.
Things
So-
have changed and-
And this
Years.
came
It's a new
from
world. Yeah.
Right, this came through the downtown Indiana.
those downtown businesses. They're the ones who approached and we said, we'll hold the brakes yet because there's a.
Okay. Well, I'm fine tagging the new event thing, but can I at least say what the heart of it was? Okay, because I'm not on the ad hoc committee. And I thought this up. Okay, well, the idea of the new event policy was a financial stimulus to help people run events. That was the idea. And obviously, this is simply a starting point of what I thought of and Casey added to. So the ad hoc committee can kick it around as much as they want. But the premise of it was 25% of the event cost up to $500 maximum. So in a $2,000 event, they would get $500 reimbursed or taken off the final bill, right? That would have been the maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's specifically, I think we said not necessarily specifically tagged to that. But Chief, we had mentioned, I know it had been asked of you to possibly get more specific upfront event costing. For folks then when they apply. Yeah. Okay, where are we with that?
To be honest. But let me back that up. I think that would be this will be a better conversation for Public Safety Committee, only because it'll give me another week to put these things together, because it wasn't my intent to not have that listed. There wasn't necessarily a date put on. I'd like to have all this done by, and so I apologize for that. But I, just generally speaking, when we're planning for a special event, we start planning the day that the event gets application hits. And then we continue and we layer our planning based upon what's going on, what is the, are these events occurring in other places? Is there a public safety concern specific to the event that's going to be brought? Because not all events are equal. So although we could maybe give a broad brushstroke of what general events cost, I think it would be, and this is something certainly I'd like to unpack at public safety, but it's going to be difficult to give, I think, folks the exact answer that they would like to have, which is what's the worst that this is going to be? I mean, we could I could cast a wide net. But yeah,
If it's a rough estimate, that's all, if that's the best that can happen, then that's what it is, I mean, that's all we can really ask for. But
safety, if that's okay, we can have a broad discussion on what that might look like. I will have that document for next Tuesday.
Last part about this that we had talked about is that every event would be considered a new event this year. That way there isn't like, for example, Appalachian Folk Festival.
I don't think, you don't mean for the approval process.
Oh, sorry. Segueing back to the event policy, nothing to do with
No.
the approval process.
Yeah, we have, well, the comprehensive plan indicates that people want more events. All
Yep.
of our data coming back from like our public engagement is that people want more events. So, finding a way to encourage events.
Yeah.
But not singling any event out. And so the idea is like, well, do we want to encourage new events, or we just want to like blanket encourage all the events? So like, why would Folk Fest get this discount, but like of an event that's happened for the first time would? So the idea
Right.
behind it's all brand new is like, everybody gets the same rough discount like this year. And we talked about some ideas of
We
like.
got it scaling down periodic, gradually over whatever number of years people wanted to land on, if any.
So there's some ARP funds that we have like designated towards projects that have no legs on them, to be honest, and maybe repurposing those funds for a bit, encourage these events and give some sort of discount for our fees and still be able to make it up with our own funds, not like lose out on funds. But that's a way to do it. Also tie that funding to timely applications. So you're not eligible for funding if you have a last minute application, but like, hey, if you apply in advance, then we can give you, a certain discount on whatever fees.
Right. That's the basic print. That would be the starting point.
Yeah.
And then if Casey,
I don't know if it's something that we want to bring to the ad hoc and just saying we're talking about vendors and events and just trying to. If that's a appropriate thing for the ad hoc, or if it needs to just run through public safety and we want to run it that way.
I mean, they're related, but not tied to each other. What
That's
was
my
that?
question. Like, do we just want to focus on the transient? That's fine. Then
Yeah, no, I know what she's asking. I was
bring
thinking,
this.
because they're cousin, but not, brother and sister, right? Well, you can do one without the other. What do you want to do? You can have it if you want it.
I mean, if it's a public safety concern. It's a financial choice and it's a,
I would keep
yeah,
it separate.
yeah,
That's fine.
that's fine.
That seems to be.
So I can put together a presentation on special events, just generally that might prompt more conversation, and it would probably need more than one public safety meeting, if I'm being honest, because an hour is not a lot of time to cram in a discussion on top of whatever public safety, but I think that I would be happy to put together that presentation for next week.
Even if next week, kind of framework or more of a timeline or that sort of thing, I think that would make sense. So we're gonna send that to public safety and the transit retail is gonna go to the ad hoc. Okay, okay. Any other discussion on those two things? Attendance policy, and I apologize, I left all my papers somewhere else. So now I have to find it. There it is, okay. So oh, thank you, Peter. The history of this, I don't remember if Betsy. Okay, well, because it was right at the end and I wasn't sure if it overlapped when you came on or not. Okay, long story short, there is no attendance policy. So we think there needs to be something. With Pat, if I recall, when you looked into it, there's a premise for allowing us to have an attendance policy. We just have to write one
Yeah, you'd have to
locally
create
to the borough. And so this is the second version, but it's still really rough. Like this wasn't anywhere near like ready to vote on, so to speak. This is more, let's get some feedback on it. So with that, as hopefully people had a chance to look at it. I know it's a little last minute. I'm sorry about that. But yes.
So, first two sentences. There are required meetings that will be held on 3 different nights every given month.
Yes.
In a given calendar year, that equals 36 nights.
Thank you. Okay, the first version had it split into individual meetings. And
But it's nights, so then when you talk about meetings, you're talking about nights, and then you talk about consecutive meetings, we're talking about apples and oranges.
I blame Casey for that one. She made me change it. No, no, honestly, that's good feedback. It was individual meetings that felt a little cumbersome. So we switched it. Now I did word it poorly, to your point, like maybe it should have said meeting nights. I don't really know. That's good feedback though.
Right. Which, so you go on vacation 3 times in a year and you're.
Sometimes I go to the Jersey Shore. Am I going? Am I out? I'm going again. We'll both be out. See ya.
We need a level of clarity. I think the spirit when we were talking about it again was that the evening would count as one. So if you missed one evening, no matter how many meetings took place that evening, you missed the evening.
So then the second, if you miss 6 consecutive meetings.
Again, poorly worded then, yeah,
Meeting
Yeah.
nights, is that what you mean?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the evenings.
Otherwise, the next council is gonna read this and be like, what did they mean?
Point, right? This was not.
You got me.
Yeah, this was changed. And we got, like, I just wanna make sure that we're working on what problem we're trying to solve. Right, and I think there was some concern with, there was individuals on council that were out of town or frequently gone. And we had a number of committees that, we don't have the same problem now because committee structures changed. We had a number of committees that didn't have quorum. And so you're bringing in all the staff and then you can't even have a proper meeting. I know a lot of that's been alleviated with the new system, but I think that was some of the problems, and we don't really have a mechanism. Like somebody could just still live in the borough and never attend a meeting and they're on council. No matter what. And that was some concern with, I know when Councilmember Smith was gonna move and had resigned, or nobody was sure what was gonna happen. It's like, okay, this person's gonna be in another country and just, they can zoom in, but that's technically not an attendance.
Yeah.
And they can't vote, so. Then we're at problems with quorum again. If we have a couple people are sick in town, then that's one person's go. So I think there were some issues there wanting to prevent future problems with people just not showing up.
Actually, the latest Borough News for PSAB suggested that you can vote online.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Verify that the person actually sat and listened to the whole conversation prior to.
How can we verify that any of you guys are actually listening in your ear? In all fairness,
Yep.
not directed
Yeah.
to you, Tammy.
No,
just-
you're absolutely right on me. huh?
No. I didn't mean it, you, but, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay, so interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, but I also didn't look for it, so that's fair. Oh, I don't know how that works legally speaking, is that reckon, it really doesn't matter. The point is, it does matter, maybe for
Yeah.
another time.
It may matter, but what's your problem you're trying to solve?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we're being totally transparent, the last round of council had many absences. There was a lot of people not here various nights, and it just opened the question of how many is too many to miss, right? And so to have an attendance policy that, in my personal opinion, again, starting point, is pretty lenient. You gotta disappear for multiple months in a row.
I like the fact that the way you've written it says does not kick you off. It says can be
Right.
considered or
Right.
whatever. For
Right, it at least leaves the door open that if, right, you actually are gone and not just homesick, right, undergoing some sort of treatment.
Yeah, well,
You know
you
what I
can
mean?
have somebody who came down with a serious illness and
Exactly.
had to miss 2 months.
Yeah.
And still they were elected by their
Yep.
constituents.
We had a council member who was seriously sick and missed a few meetings.
And so again, that was the permit, the purpose of it, was to allow an avenue for removal of that person. If the the majority thought that was the appropriate action, given their circumstances. That was the spirit behind this. Right now, we have no way of doing it. At least this allows some way to do it in an extreme case, but frankly, I think we'd all agree.
You'll probably, hopefully never use.
Exactly. That would be the spirit, that would be
But
the
you
point.
have the guide rails if you.
Yeah.
need.
And it shows expectation of any future council member along with current members.
Yeah, and people are planning vacations and they miss, okay, that's one of many meetings you're allowed to miss. So if you happen to be the last meeting you have to miss, well, maybe you skip that vacation. I don't know what to tell you, but that's a lot of vacations, right? No,
So it's not, like, I'm not gonna have consecutive nights. I work the primaries, that's not a meeting. In June, I'll be away, that's one meeting night. In July, I'll be away, that's another meeting night. I'll be away in September, I'm not missing anything. And in November, I work the general election.
I worked the election too, but I cut out early.
well, regardless, you still get 9, right?
Yeah.
Get paid for it?
Oh, no, I don't get paid for it. I get paid for it.
I'm a full worker.
Well, regardless, it's still 9, right? And so I think,
Yes.
Yeah, right. Oh, no, it's fair. It's fair. That's fair.
Writing, so we're all like, oh, yeah, this is what it means, but then your fresh eyes are going, oh, no, that's not what it means.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah. The final version needs to have definitions of what a meeting is and meeting night and make that really clear.
Sure. Did anyone nobody mentioned the sign in and out thing? Is that good with everybody? We sure.
Well, you were like, you were concerned
have
about
roll
lots
call.
of late stuff, you know?
Well, we were trying to define what attending a meeting meant.
Well, if we,
Show up for 5
if we
minutes
do
left,
meeting
you're-
nights, yeah.
Could.
Like, what if somebody comes, things happen?
I noticed.
And non-committee members aren't on the roll, right? When you do a roll count.
If you come to a public safety meeting, I have everybody on council who attended. I always do that in my attendance.
Right.
And we could just do something like that.
I think all the minutes are
I
done
think the
that way.
sign in and out is superfluous, perhaps a definition of must attend majority of the meeting or something along those lines, majority of the meeting. Majority of the time of the meeting.
The meeting?
Talking about meetings, we're talking about meeting nights, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I don't care. Like I said, this is a starting point. If people want to say you're here for 61 minutes, that's the majority that counts, whatever. This is majority rules, not.
Meetings on meeting night or something along those lines.
I did pretty good. It was
Yeah,
2
it's
pages
good.
originally.
Exactly, yeah. It's really edited.
Okay,
People
so,
are in favor of this signed thing.
okay.
Doesn't sound like it. Nobody really loves
That's
it.
fine.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if we just have to figure out define what majority means and
Think
who
define,
tracks it?
define what a meeting is.
Pat.
Was it simply recording the minutes before we leave?
So it's recorded, part of it, it's always recorded in the minutes, so.
And if
Yeah.
you're not.
Leave early, is that a minute worthy event?
When somebody does come in for
Oh,
council,
yes.
it is recorded when they come in.
And if they would leave early?
I don't do leave early. We do late if you come in at 10 after or whatever.
In and out thing
It's
completely.
rare.
All of this is rare.
And also, if they're not present for voting, it would be obvious that they weren't present for.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah. Again,
Okay.
this is very rare. I'm no doubt there, but that's sort of the point. We want it to be never. Right? Now, obviously, real world happens, so people sometimes miss or late and it happens. Did you say you're not coming anymore? Okay.
Better sign it.
Somebody could go into labor during a meeting. Not anymore, I don't.
Okay, good.
Anything else on the attendance policy? Are we good? Any other old businesses somebody thought about while we were talking about other stuff? No? Okay, so moving on to new business, future events and positive community impact. Feels weird. Positive things in the community. I have one. There is a fundraiser tomorrow at the Eagles Club from 11 to 2 is the Empty Bowls fundraiser.
Yeah, I was really excited. I never get on Instagram when I saw it today. I was like, oh.
That benefits the Indiana County Food Bank, $25 donation, 20 if you're a student. You get a custom pottery bowl,
Yes.
handmade pottery bowl,
Yes.
and food and cookies for people who like cookies. So, sorry, stole your thunder on that one.
Right.
The Eagles.
Remember the Eagles. They're headed to lots of different places every year.
Yeah.
When they first did it.
Yep.
was honestly.
So I'm sure there's lots of other things going on.
Is having a Irish music event Wednesday, March 13th, 7 p.m.
Interesting. Historical Society of Indiana County is having two events coming up. One on Friday, March 22nd. I believe it's at 6 o'clock. You have to register for it on the website, but it's the National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And the Legion and VFW are involved with that. And then on Thursday, April 4th, they're having Sarah Lambert Bloom, who wrote the book on Island and is doing a project with Island. And that's gonna be at the Historical Society also. I believe that one's at 6:30. You have to register for those because they have limited spaces.
What was the date on the last one again? I'm sorry.
April 4th. If you go on the Historical Society website or Facebook page, you can see how to go about it. It's free, but they just want RSVP so they know how many people attend.
May I go? On Saturday, the 23rd, I believe at 10 a.m., St. Thomas More will have an Easter tradition session. I believe they're also making butter lambs. Also on that same day, the First UU Church of Indiana will have their non-candy egg hunt and party. Everyone is invited to get eggs started. Egg hunts will pop up everywhere.
Yes.
I think that's downtown Indiana.
I got one.
Go ahead.
IUP women's basketball team is hosting the quarterfinals of the Pennsylvania Conference Championships tomorrow at 6. They play California at 6 o'clock. Should be a tight game. It's gone back and forth. They played a week ago and IUP lost by 1 at California. But
Like rivals.
yeah, so if you want to watch good basketball, it'll be a fun night at the KCAC.
Cool.
You get to hear that guy.
Who?
I was.
Not if you go to the game.
That guy that yells at the games.
Oh, yeah, that guy, that's you. Come on, give us one.
No, because it'll hurt your ears.
Oh, geez.
It'll hurt mine especially.
Casey, you had one?
St. Patty's Open is Friday for those who want to putt golf. Compete against my team, the 4 non-blondes.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Is that where you
Friday
go
at
on to the different
You have
bars?
to
and
bring a
all
putter.
that?
Yeah, bring a putter or know somebody who has one, which we did not. We had to go find one. You did not tell us that.
They used to have
Someone
them,
has
right?
golf clubs. I don't.
So
Mine are
speaking of
rusty.
Easter
I've
egg
never
hunts,
golfed in my life.
I know that the Summit Church is putting on 50 different Easter egg hunts. So if anyone wants to find a place for their kids to an Easter egg hunt, there's a lot of options, including my house, if you need someplace to go. So,
Quota's putting on an event on Friday, March 15th. So Quota at the Fraternal Order of the Eagles, it's $25 to go. It still benefits the Alice Ball House, right?
Numerous, it's.
Oh, it's for
benefits
many different.
Many different, we do a lot of organizations, we give back to a lot of, I'm just a member of quotas.
You know more, you're on Canada now.
What am I doing?
It's a basket raffle and just we have music, entertainment, samplings and food. Huh?
Yep, food and
Yeah,
drinks,
food
right.
and drinks and at the Eagles entertainment. Again, it's
It's a fun night.
so quota raises money and then we give back to the community. So.
I'm out of town.
yeah, anybody else? Why not?
Registering at the Patriot Academy if you want to find out, this is open to the public and anyone who's interested in history of how the government came about to be. The course is called Biblical Citizenship, but it's a lot of history. It's very interesting. It's being held at the Freedom Church. Starts on March 14th and April 23rd. Register at Patriot Academy.
Thank you.
It starts when?
March 14th.
March 14th. All right, interesting. Thank you. Okay, any other, unless anyone else has any other new business?
Already, yeah.
Okay, do we have a move? Oh, I heard somebody say it was okay. Moved.
Move to adjourn.
Do we need a second? I never know how to actually do that.
Slam again.
All right. Pat did.
No, I can't second it.
There you go. Can I, do you mind if I steal your paper? then? All right, thank you.
All right.
I had everything printed for the meeting and I left it all in a backpack at my office. I'm not in my truck right now. I'm in my work truck. That's a weird way to say it. All of them are my work trucks. They're all my trucks. You're not recorded, sir, and if you're leaving a tip for the next guy.
Oh, I pulled it out when I pulled out my phone.
The grinders that I think the lot, we're actually replacing the grinder.
Not afterwards, my daughter was in heaven.
Right.
The
When
next
is-
day,
when
you
is
all
it?
got about 3
April?
inches of snow. We didn't.
Okay.
I'm
They already got,
Typically, we wanted to do treks
Yeah.
throughout 39.
yeah.
Trek up to about 36 and decided to go down.
You ain't
to
dying.
And we can sell them, or we can demolish them and then sell them. Whatever.
Thankfully, I enjoy this.
What's that?
I enjoy this one, non-controversial.
I know.
What's it cost? So 2,500 for the sheriff's.
No.
The cost for the writ of execution.
Yeah, it's much better than
Only
last time.
cost that we